It's clear she isn't the Iron Lady, she's more like a paper tiger. You look at the polls, you look at the excuses, and you realise that they aren't just losing the argument, they've lost the nerve. The villain here isn't the virus or the Labour Party, it's the absolute refusal to face reality. You're watching a leader who claims to be ready for a fight, yet crumbles at the memory of a piece of cloth. So we start with the big public health crisis of 2025. People with a cold, or in more serious cases like me and it's being man flu, which is way more serious than a cold, people like us are being asked to wear a mask, and Kemi Badenoch's response is personal trauma. Sam Coates starts with a very standard question, and this is her chance to be robust, a chance to talk about personal responsibility. Instead, we get this.
Senior NHS providers chief has said that people with a cold must wear a mask when they're in public places this winter. What do you think when you hear that?
I'm still slightly traumatized by all the mask wearing that we had to do during COVID. Look, let's bring some common sense into this. I personally think that face coverings can be a barrier to social interaction, social cohesion, and I do worry about a mask mandate. I don't think government should be mandating anything. Let's have some common sense. I think people can make up their own mind.
I'm sorry, what? Millions of people lost family members, NHS staff watched patients die alone, entire industries collapse, and Kemi Badenoch's big takeaway is that it will stop you talking to somebody. Who cares if they breathe all over you with their germs? Who cares if their little bits of germy spittle fly from their mouth onto you? It's common sense not to wear a mask. This is the Conservative leadership in a nutshell. No solutions, just lingering emotional damage from having to wear a cover on their face in Tesco. Apparently, asking somebody with a streaming cold to wear a face covering is what really tore society apart. Not austerity, not Brexit, not collapsing public services, not a decade of culture wars deliberately stoked by her own party. No, it was the masks. And then, my favourite bit, she asks if you're really sick, you should be in bed and not on public transport.
If you are really sick, you should be in bed, you should not be on public transport. I think that's more of a problem. But the truth is, many people are contagious before they realise that they're even ill. So I'm not sure that it would work. I think it's a surprising announcement. I'm not quite sure why they've done that.
This is in the same week where she's on 160,000 per year. She says that the welfare bill is too high and that minimum wage shouldn't be increased. This isn't to mention the millions of people who don't get sick pay, who can't work from home and still have to travel because rent doesn't really care how you're feeling. But Kemi's answer just is essentially, have you tried being richer? She even admits the key problem. People are contagious before they know they're ill, and then still concludes masking wouldn't work anyway. So she understands the argument, she really just doesn't care. Then we suddenly pivot from masks to party unity, and somehow things get even worse for her.
Here we are at the end of this year. How would you say it's going out of 10?
I never give marks out of 10. I say whether things are better or worse. And when I look at the historic defeat which Conservatives suffered last year, things are definitely better. We are more cohesive as a party.
Asked for a score out of 10 for a performance, she says rubbish. Of course she doesn't. But then, if she did, she'd have to admit it's like a 2 or something. She pivots immediately to things that are getting better. Getting better than what, exactly? I mean, you couldn't think it could get any worse after that defeat they had last year. But they have MPs and councillors abandoning ship at a rate of knots. But I think it's because she admits what they all seem to know, which we didn't at the time. She thinks that she's not a winner.
And we are the only party that is responsible. We've seen new parties like Reform come in. They're making a hash of things at council level. We need to make sure that people can see the benefits of voting Conservative.
That was a lengthy answer, but I asked you what success looked like. You didn't say winning.
Well, as I said, we're going to be fighting for every vote. I'm not going
You're still
to
not saying
winning. This is an answer that I've given and previous leaders have always given.
So not winning here yet.
So what I'm saying is that the country is going to decide. We are going to put out an offer and we're going to fight for every vote. I didn't say some votes. Success is going to be people seeing the Conservative Party as the only party that is competent and credible enough to do the tough stuff that this country needs.
So not winning yet.
She wants the authority of leadership without the scrutiny, the confidence of power without the responsibility. If Kemi Badenoch is still traumatised by a mask, something millions of people manage daily in hospitals and care settings, how exactly is she meant to handle the next real crisis? Because governing a country is more stressful than wearing a piece of fabric on your face. And if this is her version of common sense, no wonder the public still aren't buying it. it's clear they still have a very large mountain to climb if they ever want to be seen as credible again. And if masks are too much for them, maybe start with something similar, like Brexit, which you can see in the video that's on screen now. Thanks for watching, don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time.